In the heart of autumn, when the crisp air whispered secrets through the leaves, a group of college students embarked on a weekend camping trip. They yearned for adventure, seeking to escape the confines of their textbooks and embrace the untamed wilderness. Their chosen destination lay nestled in the depths of a sprawling forest, where an ancient, derelict house loomed ominously on the edge of their campsite. Whispered tales of its haunting had circulated for generations, adding a shroud of mystery to the decaying structure. As dusk descended, the campfire crackled to life, casting flickering shadows upon the faces of the eager adventurers. Amidst laughter and camaraderie, they talked about fear. The teacher explained that fear is a state of mind to face a mysterious situation. They talked about ghosts, witches, and haunted places, and the teacher told the group that there are no such things in reality. It is all creation of our mind. Someone proposed a dare that sent a ripple of excitement through the group. They would each contribute a sum of money for the person who would venture into the haunted house at midnight only with a small torch. His task would be to hammer down a wedge at any place in the house as proof of his courage. A hush fell over the group as they exchanged nervous glances. But one boy, fueled by bravado or perhaps a desire to prove that the teacher is right about the concept of fear, stepped forward. His name was Walid, and with a determined grin, he accepted the challenge. As the clock struck midnight, Walid set off towards the target. The camp was engulfed in an eerie silence when even after 2 hours there was no sign of Walid. Hours passed, each minute stretching into an eternity as the group anxiously awaited Walid's return. But as the first light of dawn painted the sky, there was still no sign of him. Fearing the worst, the group rallied together, arming themselves with flashlights and determination as they ventured into the depths of the forest. The haunted house loomed before them, its crumbling facade a testament to the passage of time. With trembling hands, they pushed open the creaking door and stepped into the darkness within. The air was thick with dust and the scent of decay, sending shivers down their spines as they called out for their missing friend. It was then that they found him, sprawling unconscious amidst the debris of the haunted house. Everyone shrank to see his open mouth, entangled hair, and flushed face. Most of the group members wished to be away from the sight. They thought that the eerie residents did not like this intrusion and seized his soul. A boy moved forward and sprinkled water on his face. His body responded to the cold water and he moved his limbs. Soon he opened his eyes and looked around in wonder. The boys took a sigh of relief when they saw him getting up. He remained dumb for a few minutes to all the questions and then, considering himself safe, started narrating a horrible story. In the dead of night, when the moon hung low like a spectral eye peering through the tattered veil of clouds, I found myself standing before the looming silhouette of the derelict haunted house. The air was thick with an eerie stillness, broken only by the distant howl of a lone wolf, and the rustle of leaves carried on a chilling breeze that whispered secrets of the long-forgotten. With every step I took towards the decrepit mansion, the weight of the darkness seemed to press upon me like a physical force, urging me to turn back, to flee from the encroaching shadows that threatened to swallow me whole. But curiosity and fear of embarrassment held me in its thrall, driving me forward into the heart of the unknown. I picked up a small piece of rock to hammer the wedge down. As I crossed the threshold, the air grew heavy with the scent of decay, mingling with the faint tang of something sinister that lingered just beyond the reach of my senses. Shadows danced upon the walls like specters of the past, twisting and writhing in a macabre ballet of darkness. My footsteps echoed through the hollow halls, each creaking floorboard a haunting refrain in the symphony of dread that surrounded me. And then, from the depths of the house, came a whisper, soft and insidious, weaving its tendrils of malice around my mind like a serpent coiling around its prey. I turned, heart pounding in my chest like a drum of doom, and there they were, the spirits of the damned, their eyes gleaming with malevolent intent as they reached out from the darkness to claim me for their own. Their forms were twisted and distorted, grotesque parodies of the living, and yet there was a terrible beauty to them, a dark allure that drew me ever closer to the edge of madness. Witches floating in the air, demons with red eyes coming towards me. Despite all the horror, I sat down and valiantly hammered the wedge into the ground, and at that moment, I heard a hissing sound. With a cry of terror, I turned to flee, but the walls themselves seemed to close in around me, trapping me in a nightmarish labyrinth from which there could be no escape. As soon as I tried to get up, a monster with shining blue eyes grabbed me by the waist and pushed me down. This proved a last straw, and I collapsed. And as the spirits closed in, their laughter echoing like the tolling of funeral bells, I knew that I was lost to the darkness that lurked within the haunted house, lost to the evil that dwelled within its walls, lost to the eternal torment of the damned. The teacher, who was listening intently to his story, noticed that a corner of his long coat was hammered down with a wedge, but he remained quiet and, without bringing it to anyone's notice, released his long coat by removing the wedge and saved the young man from embarrassment. He showed the wedge to the group as a silent testament to his bravery.
On their way back, young man's eyes remained filled with a haunted expression that sent a chill down their spines. He spoke of shadows that whispered in the darkness, of unseen hands that grasped at his soul. And though he could not remember what had happened, the fear etched upon his face spoke volumes. The whole group admired his courage to risk his life to win a bet. The teacher then revealed the reality by telling the group how Walid hammered the edge of his long coat, and when he tried to get up, he felt that he had been grabbed by evil spirits. A little mistake engulfed Walid with the fear of ghosts and spirits that had been in his mind since childhood. The teacher's explanation of fear fell on their deaf ears because Walid's story and his condition had a deep effect on their minds. The whole group had a renewed belief in the existence of celestial world.